Okay, ladies and gentlemen, yes, different setup here, but we are not going to be able to lose our streak. 235 days in a row of live streaming. Felt like we needed to talk about the Seahawks-Eagles game. I know a lot of people were relying on Jalen Hurts, right? With Hurts, horrendous game. I'm sure that you missed your playoffs if you needed X amount of points. The rushing production was there, and obviously that is going to save you if you didn't have to start like A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, or Dallas Goedert. You do have 82 rushing yards and multiple rushing touchdowns from Jalen Hurts, which this kind of usage as a rusher obviously is going to set you up where if you have that elite level ceiling as a passer, then obviously you can turn into that league winner from a week to week perspective. It's why he has such a high floor ceiling combo every single week. Even in a game where he's very bad, he himself can score a lot of fantasy points. Now, at the same time, that isn't necessarily going to save A.J. Brown. It's not going to save Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. We got lucky. We took the fewer than 34.5 receiving yards for Dallas Goedert on Underdog. Actually, it was like 44.5. Whatever it was, that under did hit for Dallas Goedert over there on Underdog, which I feel very fortunate for because the man did have 9 targets in this game, which is very interesting. I would say if you have Goedert, you're definitely going to be starting him over the next 2 weeks, unless you're also sitting with like Trey McBride, of course. Devonta Smith only has 5 targets. Just really bad passing offense overall. A.J. Brown dominates with targets. Really, there's not too much that changes here. DeAndre Swift's the 3-down back. Jalen Hurts still has the elite level ceiling. You're still starting A.J. Brown. You're still starting Devonta Smith. Dallas Goedert did have a considerable amount of volume. So yeah, start Hurts, start Swift, start Brown, and start Smith every single week as you previously were. Now, going over to what we have with the Seattle side of things, I mean, Drew Lock kind of saves the game at the very end. Looked pretty bad for the first half. Looked pretty bad for the majority of the game. But nonetheless, comes out here and saves you with the DK Metcalf production at the end, with the JSN production at the end if you saved him. I'm sorry, if you started him, that is. Now, am I super pumped to start JSN going forward? No. While I am excited to see from a dynasty perspective that he does go out there and he has the receiving touchdown, JSN only has 4 targets, right? So if you only have 4 targets in this style contest where you have 33 pass attempts for Drew Lock, I don't necessarily think that you can go through and confidently rely on him to be a factor from a fantasy perspective. What is very interesting is the Seahawks trail this game pretty much the entire time. Yet you still have a ton of Kenneth Walker. You don't have that much Zach Charbonnet. Walker does walk away with over 100 total yards. He has 3 targets as well as 19 carries, so over 20 total opportunities. Looks great out there, looks fully healthy. So I think you can be very excited about going through and starting Kenneth Walker going forward. I mean, we did rank him in a range where we probably are too low on him in the rankings that are going to come out tomorrow. We made those rankings right before this week. I think that instead we probably have to go through and view Kenneth Walker as that mid RB2 at this point. And then DK Metcalf still a volatile option. You start him as a wide receiver 2. JSN still not super interesting. Tyler Lockett still not super interesting. I am happy though that we did not have an absolute JSN or Tyler Lockett blow up game because I do want to flex to y'all real quick. I know that, I mean, looking at individuals' fantasy football teams is kind of like hearing someone talk about their dog, right? I love talking about my dog. It is my favorite thing to do. I can tell everybody about my dog over and over and over again. I love her more than anything else on the planet. But at the same time, you don't want to hear me talk about my dog. Kind of same thing with my fantasy teams, right? I mean, I would love to talk about how I'm doing over and over and over again, but I've learned over the years that y'all don't necessarily care too much about my teams. But this is about when it matters. This is when I got to go out there and flex on y'all. I got a Best Ball Mania team through on Underdog that I am extremely excited about. The reason being is this is a team that has both Tyreek Hill as well as Jonathan Taylor on it. So if you are looking at Best Ball Mania here, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand that this is a tournament where you don't necessarily just want to have the best players. Obviously, it's great to have CMC. Obviously, it's great to have James Cook. But you also want options that have elite level ceilings that not everybody else has in the tournament. So with Tyreek as well as Jonathan Taylor not playing this past week, there will not be that many people left over in the tournament that were able to get Jonathan Taylor, get Tyreek Hill past this round. but we somehow snuck them both past this round on the same team. Because I'm operating on my laptop here, it's going to be difficult for me to actually show you all this on the screen, but we have Goff, Young, Baker at quarterback. So we are live with our 3 quarterbacks. Running back, we have Taylor, Gibbs, Cook, Charbonnet, Chuba Hubbard. So we are live with all 5 running backs. Wide receiver, we have Tyreek, Higgins, Evans, Pittman, Zay Jones, Mingo, Curtis Samuel, Shakir. We are live with all 8 wide receivers, and we have Hawkinson and Evan Ingram at tight end. So we have no dead players on the team. And at the same time, we have 2 guys with an elite level ceiling that not many people are going to have going forward in the tournament. So I've already convinced myself that I'm winning $3 million on Underdog this year. Obviously, the probability of that happening is slim to none, pretty much the same as a scratch-off ticket. But in my mind, I've convinced myself it's happening. We did advance a massive team to the following round as well, the semifinals. That is a $1,000 buy-in on Underdog. We advanced a Rottweiler team, which was a $350 buy-in on Underdog. And I believe we advanced, what else did we advance here? 2 Chow Chow teams, which were $50 buy-ins on Underdog. So we're doing pretty damn well in the high stakes drafts on Underdog. And I'm very, very excited about that Best Ball Mania team that we advanced with not Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, as well as Jonathan Taylor. No idea if there's another team in the entire tournament that advanced a Tyreek Hill, Jonathan Taylor combo. So, I mean, I'm pumped. I've convinced myself I'm winning $3 million, and those are going to be the guys we're rooting for going forward. But let me go ahead and dive into any of the questions that we have here. And if you have not done so already, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. What are you waiting for? But Cody coming out says, showing some love. 2nd anniversary to my wife. Opponent needed my man. Okay. This is the issue. You're coming out here saying 2nd anniversary to my wife. And in the same breath, you're talking about your fantasy football team. Hopefully you spend some time with her, my friend. Hopefully we don't sweat out this Eagles game. Opponent needed 33 tonight with A.J. Brown, Swift, Jake Elliott. Fell 8 points short. On to the semis, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, my friend, and congrats. Hopefully you did not ignore the wife all anniversary, and instead you just snuck the phone under the table like a normal person. Now, going over to our next question. Austin says, I just advanced the Dalmatian 2 by 0.14 in 3rd place. Didn't have Olave, Watson, or Brian Robinson. Let's go, bro. I'm so hyped. I am happy for you, my friend. I think I advanced a Dalmatian team as well. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I don't know if I advanced a Dalmatian team or a Dalmatian 2 team, but yeah, I advanced the team in the Dalmatian. That team has, you know, it's crazy. That team, I took a 0 at quarterback. I have Joe Burrow and Geno Smith at quarterback with that team. So hopefully we get a big Geno week going forward if we're going to stay live. I'm not super, super excited about that team just because we lost Burrow, of course. Now, Max says up 20 with A.J. Brown versus Hurts, Kenneth Walker, lost by 5. Thanks for a good year. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend, but at least you got to sweat tonight. At least you got to sweat, and I'm wishing you the best of luck next year. Josh says, got lucky, snuck 3 teams in a Best Ball Mania round 3. Hope you got through, my man. Can't wait to draft with you guys again next year. Thanks for all the alpha. My man, I am pumped for you. Hopefully you are not up against me in this next bracket, because if that is the case, you are complete toast, and we can come out here, we can say RIP Josh, but hopefully you are able to get in a bracket that doesn't have this top competition in it. Now, Jacob says, got in the playoff, and that's a joke. If you were new here, I like to joke. Jacob says, got in the playoffs win by 17 due to some nice luck. 10-team PPR. We have Hurts, Bijan, Moss, JT Pacheco, AJ Evans, McBride, Ridley, Nico, Stroud, Waller. What are your thoughts? Great team. I mean, I think you're still probably starting Hurts over Stroud next week. I mean, really, if we're looking at the Indy guys, you're hoping that JT will be back in. Pacheco will be back in. A lot is up in the air with injuries here. But, I mean, hell, you kind of snug that team through with a ton of injuries. Now, King Flores says, made it to the playoffs, got lucky by 3 points. Thank you. Are we going to go Stafford or Love next week? I think, honestly, probably going to go ahead and take Matthew Stafford. I mean, if you're looking at the implied team totals, I believe the Rams are at about 24.5 points again this next week. Stafford, it just looks great at this point with a fully healthy Cup. Dave says, won by 0.06. It was tied. I had AJ and he had Smith. Let's go. My man, hell yes. Hell yes. Now, SSG Yeti says, PBR 10 team, buy in round 1. I play CMC this week. At least CMC is going up against Baltimore. And maybe he doesn't put up a nuclear game. Mahomes, Hill, Amari, Etienne, Gibbs, Hall, Godwin, Laporta. Chase probably out. We are going to be starting Hill, Amari, wide receiver. Etienne, Gibbs, and then Hall in the flex spot. Go Hall in the flex. Hall is a very good matchup this week going up against Washington, where actually you have an implied team total of 20 or more points for the first time in like forever here for the Jets this week. Now, Anthony says, thanks for all the help this season. Lost in this round of the playoffs, but it was great. I hope you had fun, my friend, and I'm so damn sorry to hear that you are out. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking with us all year. And I do want to genuinely let y'all know that I am very sorry if you are bounced already from the playoffs. I really do hope that we were able to help you out in some way this year, though. I really hope that you had fun at the very least. Promise you, I'm going to try better next year to make sure that we are all making it to at least the semifinals in our respective leagues. And I will keep you posted on my team. So maybe you can at least have something to root for. I mean, that we can all come together and agree that there's one thing that matters on this planet, and that is my fantasy football. All right. Okay. But we are rooting for that Best Ball Mania team. Okay. Like I said, that team has Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill on it. Who else stuck a Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill team through Best Ball Mania? Please let me know. And I also just got a DM from someone on Instagram that follows the channel that just took down Battle Royale for 30,000 on Underdog this week, which is crazy. Mike says, I got to drop 2 and not sure, don't want to help the opponent. We have Allen, White, JT, Javonte, Connor, Reek, Jefferson, Adams, Kelsey, Love, Reed, JSN, Ty, Broncos, the Ravens. Well, Love's going to be the first easy drop. Drop Jordan Love. After that will be a little bit tougher. Kind of want to roster both defenses considering the fact that we're in the playoffs. I think the next drop would probably be Reed out of these options, unless Madison makes it back, and then in that case, it's Ty Chandler, easily though. But I think that should be it for this live stream. I do want to remind y'all that I am about to stop uploading on this channel very, very soon. So I understand most of y'all don't play fantasy football in the off season. That's completely fine. I love Dynasty Fantasy Football, so I'm going to continue to talk about it year round. That's how I got started on YouTube. And if you wanted to hang out with us all off season, you can find the Dynasty Football Flock on YouTube. I'm not going to grab a link of it. You can just search for it. So just go to YouTube, search Dynasty Football Flock. Will be the first thing that pops up. We're about to start uploading daily videos there pretty much starting tomorrow. Maybe we go every other day starting tomorrow and then every day whenever I get back. But yeah, this will be, I believe, the second to last week that we make any posts on this channel. And then I will most likely see the majority of y'all in 2024. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate y'all. I really hope that you have a great Monday night. And I really hope I get to see you out in the live stream tomorrow night.